What is up, guys? This is Stylish. I'm doing another first-person VOD, and this time I'm gonna do a TvP builder on Colosseum. Colosseum is a very good map. It's map of the week on ICOP right now, so that's why I chose to do the build order on this map. The build order I'm going to show you guys is sort of a flash build order where you get early upgrades and timing attack at about 13 minutes with 2-1 upgrades and a huge army. So first off, I start by walling off, and you do the usual supply depot at 9, and then use that SCV to make a barrack, etc., etc. You guys hopefully know how to wall in by this time. And what makes Colosseum so special is that you have a quite easily accessible third, so you will get really much gas, and you can use that gas to get additional vessels, additional Goliaths, additional factories, and additional dropships, basically. And that is very good on this map for this build order. On some other maps like Blue Storm, you don't have an easy accessible third with gas, so you will have to go more vulture heavy, and it becomes a little bit different when you don't have so much gas. You can't do that much vessels and stuff like that. It's a bit harder versus arbiters and so on. Anyway, I take my refinery on 12, and then I use my next SV to scout. Sometimes Flash, when Flash does this build, or he doesn't scout with the SV, he just make a marine and scout with that marine, or he scouts with his first vulture. That's to optimize the economy of this build order, but usually when playing ICOP, people do all kinds of cheesy stuff, so I suggest that you use an SV to scout pretty early on. And I used my SV that was making the barrack. I just cancel. I click on the SV, cancel, and then make a supply, and then go back to make the barrack to optimize economy, so I don't have to use 2 SVs. So as you see, when I get 88 gas, I start taking SCV off gas, so I only have 1 SCV on gas. When I have 100 gas, I will only have 1 SCV on gas, and I make my factory because I only need 100 gas to make a factory. This is to make the economy so much better, because you have 2 more SCVs mining minerals, and that way you will be able to build your command center in your natural a few seconds faster. And I mean, everything adds up in StarCraft, so all the little advantages that you can get is really good. And I make a marine, and that marine is used to basically kill the probe, and also to scout any proxy made on my cliff there outside my wall, and then keep scouting with the marine. At the same time as my factory finishes, I take an SV and go to the expansion, so I will have about 400 minerals when I get there. And then I make a supply depot. As I'm making my machine shop, I make a supply depot. It's about 21 or 22. And also here you see that I kill my SV. It's because the SV should usually die after I've scouted the opponent. His goon's gonna kill it, so otherwise I'm gonna get supply needed or something for my build order if I don't kill that SV. Because I'm not playing versus anyone here, it's just versus, no one actually. So as soon as your factory is finished, you can make a siege tank, and then you keep making SCVs, and as soon as you have 150 minerals, 150 gas, you upgrade siege mode, and then when the tank is finished, you will have exactly 150 and 100 again to make another tank. And after you made your second tank, you take an SCV and build eBay. I will tell you later why I build the eBay exactly on this position, but you build that eBay while your second tank is building. And at the same time as you make the eBay, that's the time when you shall transfer 6 or 7 SCVs to your expansion, and they will arrive at a good timing. And then when the second tanks arrive, you make another tank, and the siege mode will upgrade shortly, and then you upgrade vulture speed, and then you siege up. Then you add another supply, and after the supply you start adding turrets. I will tell you a little bit more about turret placement and turret timing later when I watch the replay of this VOD. Anyway, after your third tank you start making vultures. That's why it's so important to make that supply that I made on, I think, 36 or something, because the vultures really take up much supply, and you need all that supply to keep the vultures coming. After you made your first vulture, you make armory, and then you make your last turret, and then you make another vulture. Keep vulture production, that's very important, and then as soon as you can do it, you add refinery. You need pretty fast gas in your expansion because this build order is gas heavy. So I'm adding, I add a supply depot first, and then I add a refinery. I'm gonna write down the build order for you guys in my thread later. So I don't really have it in my head right now, only sort of, you know. So you make 4 vultures, and while you're making your 4th vulture, you should be able to add another factory. And the reason why I make 4 vultures, it's pretty thought through actually, because usually the Protoss will set pressure on you, but also the Protoss wants to take 3 bases. So if you move out with these early vultures, they may be unexpected. He might not have any cannons or any defense, and you might catch some probes off guard, because the timing they will arrive at his base is exactly the timing when his 3rd is finished. If he takes the 3rd in the usual timing, the probes will transfer, and you might get some probe kills. And also you tell him like, hey, I'm aggressive, you better stay at your base. So he's probably gonna only keep like 1 or 2 goons at your place, even not even 2 goons possible. Sometimes he doesn't keep anything at your base. He just pulls everything back home, because he knows you have speed vultures and he can't afford losing so many probes. So he will go back to his main to take a defensive position, and that's when you can move out and take your 3rd. I placed my 3rd command center here in my main, but sometimes when you scout with your vultures what he's doing, you can just go with an SCV and place your 3rd command center at the position where it should be, where you should mine from it, because you know that he has no units there. So and also I'm not controlling the vultures or anything on the map right now, because I just want to show you guys the build order so you can follow what I do in my base. But basically I just roam across the map with those vultures, try to be a pain in the ass, basically. So when your weapon upgrade is like 1/3 finished, you should start your starport, because that way when your science facility is finished, after your starport is finished, the 1.0 upgrade will be just finished, and you will there will be a good timing when you start making your 2nd weapon upgrade. So while you're taking your 3rd, you add 2 more factories, as you see I did here. You add them first. You add a CC of 2 factories, and then while making the CC you add 2 more factories, and then when those 2 factories are done, you keep those SCVs there to make 2 more factories as soon as you have minerals for it. Like you can see here, I take them in position to make more factories, but oh yeah, I make factories right now. Okay, and be sure to transition your SV, so when your 3rd CC lands, there should be at the position. And also make a couple of turrets when you move out with the tanks like that, because he can have a shuttle, and that would be pretty troublesome if you don't have any turrets. When you add your science facility, you should add your 2nd armory as well, because an armory takes about the same time as a science facility to make. and when the science facility is ready, you should be able to upgrade weapon and armory at the same time. Weapon and armor, I'm sorry. Yeah, and when the starport is finished, you could add, I usually add control tower, because I'm gonna make some dropships, especially on this map. It's really good, because what you do here is you macro up. You macro like crazy, and you still want the Protoss not to macro like crazy. You want him to be harassed, you know. So you make the vultures you make, you're gonna use, and the dropships you make, you're gonna use while you macro to make him micro while you macro, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so I make some dropships when the starport is finished, and after I've added my 5th and 6th factory, I just keep macroing, keep making supply depots, SCVs, and units out of all factories at all times. I don't know if I miss a supply depot here in this VOD or something like that, but you're not supposed to do that. You don't have to do that. Just keep making supplies and keep making units, you know. And also you see here I add another turret because I move all my tanks to my macro location, and then he can do a late river drop or something, so you can add some turrets there in your expansion. Anyway, when I have 2 dropships, I take 4 vultures in one of them and 2 tanks in one of them, and then I start roaming the map with my vultures. I try to keep him focused on my vultures so he doesn't notice my dropships, and I lay mines at strategic positions so I know where his army is, and then I drop his natural or his main, or his natural and his main at the same time while harassing his main army. So I try to keep his focus on my vultures, and then I drop at his natural, and I hope that he doesn't see it, and maybe I get like a big amount of probe kills, and those kind of things can really determine a win or a loss. As you see here, I just macro a little bit here. Anyway, I just keep macroing of those 6 factories. You don't really need more than 6 factories for the timing. The timing push should be at about 13 minutes. And of course, in a real game, I should have died some vultures. I should probably have died the drop, and I should not have so much supply as I have right now because I'm soon maxed here. But in a real game, you should be at maybe 170 or something like that when you move out. It's more realistic. Anyway, I think my upgrades will be finished here anytime soon, and then I will have 2 control groups of vultures and 1 full control group of tanks and 1 half full or something like that, and well, like 4 Goliaths and 2 vessels with EMP. Like 30 seconds before you're gonna move out, then you can produce like 4 Goliaths at the same time and start upgrade Goliath range, because you're gonna need some Goliaths to defeat dropships and to destroy arbiters, because they can be really a pain in the ass if you don't have anything to shoot them down. So here I move out, and at the same time I move out, I can take in a CD from my expansion and move to another expansion, because I need a 4th expansion sooner or later if my first push won't succeed the way I want. And at the same time as I move out, my minerals will go up because I'm maxed, and then you can add more factories. So basically that's what I'm doing right now. And also at the same time as you move out, be sure to add turrets in your expansions, and maybe even like 20 seconds before you move out, use your vultures to place mines in your base for recall matters and stuff like that. So what I do here, I just siege up. Basically, I'm finished here. So yeah, etc., etc. You know, from here on, you just improvise. And now I'm gonna go through the replay, so I have a little bit more time to talk about some important things that you need to know when you do this build order, or any build order for that matter. So I'm just saving the replay here. I'm gonna post the replay for you guys in the thread as well as the build order. I'm gonna write the build order as well. Maybe one thing you noticed is that my placement of my second supply depot is a bit odd. You experienced players know it, but maybe some of you other guys you don't know it that good. you can place supply depots in a way that a marine can get through, but not SCV or probe or seal up. Surgeons can get through as well, but that's not an issue in this matchup. So I will show you here. Yeah, I place the I show you this first. I take SCVs of gas here when I have 100 to place my factory, and I go mine with those SCVs instead. And here I make that supply to the left. You can make it to the right as well, but here I can't make it to the right. I have to make it to the left, and the marine can get through there, but not the SCV and not the probe. And that's very important because you don't want to have to lift your barrack when you move out with your marine to scout for proxy or anything like that, because then the probe can get into your base and get useful information, and you still want to keep your opponent in the dark. And here I go and I take the expansion when I have 400, and yeah, I told you about that one earlier. Anyway, and then I'm gonna make a supply depot here at the same time as the machine shop is building. It's like 21 or 22. Yeah, and one trigger to this build is that when you start making your eBay, you should transfer SCVs to the expansion, and they will arrive at a good timing. And you place your eBay after your second tank is building. And this is a bit key to this build order. I place my eBay up there because if you know the map, there's a cliff above that eBay where you can't see. You have no vision. So if you place a turret there, you cannot see the shuttle, so the shuttle can get into your main anyway. But if I have my turret at this position, I can lift it, and I can lift it over my turrets to get vision and to hide my turret at the same time, so I will see his shuttle and he won't see my turret. And also there are locations. I show you the locations here where I place my turrets, and this I know because I played single player a lot of times, and I searched for the perfect turret locations to cover my whole base and still only use 4 or 5 turrets. So the first turret should always be placed in your entrance because of the, well, obviously DT rush. And then second and third turret should be placed at the most obvious places for him to drop. And then you can add your fourth and fifth dropship. I mean, you're not going to have cash to make all the turrets. Oh, I said dropships, I mean turret. You're not going to have cash enough to make all turrets at the same time. When siege mode is finished, you immediately upgrade speed, vulture speed, and then immediately after vulture speed you upgrade mines, because you want to have that timing with those 4 vultures. Yeah, here I show that as the shuttle cannot get through there, and the shuttle cannot get through here as well, and then it can't get through here, and you can't drop here. If he drops there, you just move your tanks because he can't move the dropship to the tanks. Yeah, I lost my thread here. Anyway, you make 4 vultures, and that's very key. First, I started making 3 vultures, and I thought, well, that's good, so I can keep making tanks as soon as possible. But 4 vultures is actually the perfect timing, because 4 vultures will allow you to get to his base when he transfers his probes. And also, you will have those 4 vultures in your mains long enough for him to show if he's going to do a bulldog. And if he does a bulldog and you have those 4 vultures in your main, you're going to own that bulldog. And at the second you move out, he's out of his timing to do the bulldog. If I had 3 vultures to move out, I can move out and then his bulldog comes, and I have no vultures and only like 3 tanks in my main, and I could get owned. But 4 vultures and the bulldog comes at the same timing as the 4 vultures arrive, so you will be able to defeat it. Anyway, what I try to show here is that I go out with my vultures and be offensive, so I can take my command center at the spot directly instead of making it in my main. But here I'd make it in my main anyway, just to show you how to do it the safe way. Yeah, and then I think also I didn't tell you, I add my first I add my CC, and then I add Academy at the same time. So when I lift my CC and move out, I add Comsat at my natural and expansion. So if he has a dark temper or something there, you will be able to scout at the same time as your command center should be able to land at the position, so he can't stall your expansion. Anyway, here I think my timing is like a few seconds off with the upgrade, but it doesn't really matter that much. A few seconds here and there. I mean, in a game you won't play perfectly anyway. So. And yeah, here I show you that I put pressure on him on 2 directions. I vultures roaming the map and dropships at different locations. You know, if he takes an expansion, you can drop there and try to drop at locations where he has difficulties to arrive with his army. Anyway, and after that drop, you should be almost ready to move out. When you have 2 vessels, you should have 2-1 upgrades, as I show you here. 2-1 upgrade at 13 minutes, and you have 198 supply if you haven't lost any vultures. But obviously you're gonna lose vultures, and you're gonna lose the drop ships with the units. So you might have like 170 supply, but that's still a big army. It's a big ass army, and the Protoss will have a tough time defeating it because there's so many tanks. And I'm gonna post the in-game VOD of this later. Let's see you.